Hey guys, so I've got another guest speaker for you on this channel called Philipp Aeschlimann, a coaching friend of mine, and in this interview we're going to talk about how you can find clarity about what you want to do in your life, what are the obstacles that you can encounter on the way and how to transform them, and how you can take conscious action towards your dream life. So let's jump right into it. This is Jonas, and in this channel we talk about authenticity and personal growth. We provide tools and ideas that help you gain clarity, freedom and fulfillment in your life. If you haven't yet, consider subscribing. Hey guys, so today I'm here with Philipp Aeschlimann, a good friend of mine and a coach who helps people to take action towards their dream life. And so I wanted to talk to you today about basically because you help people a lot to take action, to do something, because a lot of people get really stuck in just like thinking about things, or they read something in a book and they're like, oh, this is such an amazing philosophy, but they never really take action, they never really make the steps to actually have something change. And so I wanted to ask you, like, what is your take on this, and what is kind of like, what do you think is your thing that you bring to the world, like this unique thing that I think everyone has? What is it that you bring to the world, and how do you feel about taking action and helping people doing that?
So, the majority of people I meet have this fundamental unease inside of themselves. It's a deep feeling that says, I'm not really in the space where I belong. And oftentimes, the first question that comes up is, what am I really supposed to be doing on this planet? What am I supposed to bring to life on this planet? How am I supposed to contribute to the beauty of life? All this coming from the idea that what they're doing right now is sort of not really their thing, you know, like some work in corporate jobs. Last night I met a lady about 50 years old who works in public administration, who's been working there for a very long time. And so they've been doing this, and they kind of come to the point and go like, it feels bad, I don't want to do that anymore. Yet the question is, what is the next thing that I'm going to do, right? And I help them find out. And the fascinating thing about this is that it is often so close. You know, they know. They just have never looked that way. But it's like, I like to compare it to diving, scuba diving, and seeing a whale. You want to see the whale, but you're not seeing it because it's so large and it's right in front of you. And when you come up again, you go like, there was nothing but a gray wall.
Yeah.
You know? So you had the whale right in front of you, but you didn't see it. And that's the same with the talents and the genius that people bring to the planet. Because it's inside of them, but it's not really meant for them. It's something that they're supposed to bring to the planet and bring to other people's lives, because that's ultimately going to enrich other people's lives. And that's something very touching once somebody finds that out, what it really is. So, and I'm helping people to discover that.
And so what are things that you could give our viewers now to, like, say they are somewhere, they actually think that they're kind of like babbling around and they want to do some action, they want to go somewhere, but they're really kind of stuck. So what are things that you could share with our viewers here that people can start doing now to go towards actually taking action on that? First of all, like maybe on finding that thing, and then on taking action, not just babbling around.
Two things. These are the things that are really, really basic to my coachings. First, ask 5 friends what they think your strengths are. And don't let them slip away with superficial stuff. Ask them to go deep and tell you what the specifics, what the characteristics are that they admire about you and they find special about you. That's the first thing. You'll be surprised what you find. Make sure you write everything down, because it's going to be extremely useful for your future journey. And the second thing is simply ask yourself what lights your heart up. If you like dancing, that's amazing. You know, if dancing is what makes time fly, then focus on dancing. It's just the fact that many people don't know what makes time fly, where they get into the flow. They've never seen that in their entire life. And to them I say, try different stuff out, you know. Try stuff. Go paragliding, take a kickboxing course, do improv theater, do pottery, just to get your brain used to taking up new patterns and ideas.
Yeah, and information and experience.
So it's actually three things there.
Yeah, and I also like, I really like but the first two ideas of getting clear on basically asking other people and finding what actually lights you up. And also the experience, and I think that's part that you help people a lot with, like experiencing those things. I also feel that experiencing is so important because when you experience, you start to feel and explore yourself in new situations, which are going to give me more information about what you actually like, what you don't like, and where you want to go, where you don't want to go. Because if you never tried something out, how can you know? And so what are maybe what you encounter with the people that you're coaching on? Like, what are the things that are holding them back the most on their journey? Is it like finding out what they want, or is it actually building up the courage to actually start doing something, or is it maybe they start doing something or they stop very quickly? Or what are the things that you encounter with people and they want to go on that path and they're like, you know what, I want to go somewhere, like there's something missing, I want to take action towards something that really lights me up in my life, but I don't know how to really go that full path?
Yeah, there's one word for this, it's fear. I know countless people who have discovered their talent, mostly in the therapeutic or coaching space, and they have never gone beyond doing their business as part-time. So they kind of stay with something they believe they need in order to generate money. So like the woman I mentioned, she has been working in public administration for so long, yet she is a very, very talented trauma therapist, right? And she has her business card that says trauma therapist. Yet when she speaks, you can hear a frustrated person who works in public administration. And the reason why they're not fully transitioning to doing what they love full time, 100%, is because they're afraid that this will not be enough to sustain living. So it's really the fear of not having enough money. And that is something really interesting if you look at it. And if you know, you're watching this now, and I really, really want to encourage you to think about, do you have that going on in your life? Are you afraid of not having enough money? This is, if you can answer this question with yes, you have just identified a huge point where you can make massive progress in your life. That's so important.
And so what are things that you've experienced or that you've come across to how to deal with this fear? Because like some people, they have kind of a natural understanding of how they can step up and get over their fear. But other people, they're really always stuck. They're like, oh, fear, and I don't do it. Oh, fear, don't do it. What are things that you could like tell people, help people if it's that is like, you know, I know this, I'm afraid, but I still don't do anything. I don't know how to get over it. Are there any things that you've come across that are really helpful with people that are stuck in fear?
Yeah, there are two ways actually, or three if you will. The first is to see how little what you're currently doing has to do with yourself, you know. So how little joy this brings to your life. The second is to imagine how much joy you would get out of doing what you really love. Okay, so you get kind of what I would call the pushing force and the pulling force. Okay? So it's kind of a dynamic that gets going. You got to move in a certain direction. And now, to make that move smooth, the key thing that it takes to move smoothly is the competence to go through your fear. So it's about knowing how to handle your fear. So it's about moving from one place to the other, which kind of needs that momentum going, right? And at the same time, you don't want to have a lot of friction in that way, which makes it difficult for you. So you want to train yourself in overcoming your fear. So the question is, what are opportunities in your life where you can overcome that fear, or in different words, expand your comfort zone? Because this overcoming of fear and expanding of the comfort zone is an important competence as such that separates the successful people from the not so successful people. Because once you get used to overcome your fears and to expand your comfort zone, it's like a thing that grows on its own, right? And you can use it everywhere. So one of the things that I like to teach men is to actually talk to women on the street, or talk to anybody on the street, or make eye contact, or walk straight, not hide away. Whatever it is, wherever you stand in your life, there are countless opportunities how you can expand your comfort zone.
Would you tell this also to women?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, I have clients who, like female clients, who have this habit of just like looking on the ground when they're walking. And they don't do that because it's just happening. So what I'm helping them to do is like lift their eye level, which makes them appear completely different, and which makes them see their surroundings, and which makes them like automatically interact with their surroundings, and that can already be a huge step out of your comfort zone. So that's a really good example of how to overcome that. Or I have a client, she's 66, and she wanted to expand her life. Actually, she still does. And one of the things that we did is I made her dance in public, just herself, with music that she was not familiar with. So I said to her, "You're going to dance now." And there were people walking by, you had all sorts of reactions, positive, negative reactions. But it doesn't matter, because what really matters is the fact that you have become the sort of person who dances out there on the street and who can overcome the limitations that you've had. Yeah. And once you do that, you realize, every time you do it, you realize, oh, it's not so bad. It's not so bad. It actually works. And that makes it a lot easier to go to the big stuff,
It's interesting. It's very similar to something that I say. It's kind of like this feeling of developing a conscious relationship to your fear and to expanding your comfort zone. How does it feel like to expand my comfort zone? How does it feel like to actually make one step towards my fear? And because so many people, they don't even have any relationship and to fear, such that they are so afraid of the fear itself that they don't want to look at it, don't want to do a step towards it, and they don't have any relationship to it. But as soon as you start to feel it in your body, like, oh, that's the fear, oh, I feel it here, or I feel it here, or whatever you feel it, and you actually realize, oh, that's a feeling, and I can experience myself in this feeling and still do something, and then I can expand, I can continue on the bigger stuff. But if you don't have any relationship, you can't do anything. So that's also, it seems like you're saying something like it's really this developing this conscious relationship to fear, and this conscious relationship by doing things that expand your comfort zone, to actually be able to feel that. How does it feel like? Would you agree on that?
Absolutely. It's so important what you're saying. And the first thing that I use to create this relationship between the client and his or her fear is the moment when they hear, like what my coaching costs. Because then they get afraid, because it's not cheap, right? Because you get results, so you pay. And the function of the price is also this jumping function, basically, right? Mm-hmm. So I'm putting a cliff in front of you, and it's your choice if you jump or not. Mm-hmm. And jumping means to overcome the fear. So as a coach, it is my talent, my genius to create situations where we create this fear for you. It's a gift for you. We create this fear, and you are allowed to overcome it in a completely safe environment, because you can decide whatever you want. You can say no, and you can stay where you are. A lot of people stay on that cliff, at the edge of the cliff, for their entire life. They don't even dare to look down. They know the cliff is there, but they choose to ignore it. And so, and that is, that's their decision. That's okay. However, a lot of expansion of the comfort zone waits when you decide, I'm jumping now. I did that, and looking back now, it seems to be an almost a normal thing, because I do it now all the time.
Yeah, so one interesting thing as well I would like to talk about in terms of the jumping and the action, and also what you said before in terms of basically pushing towards take action, and pulling towards, basically pushing is I don't want this fucking life, I want a different life, so kind of pushing. Or there's how much joy do I get by doing this stuff that I want to do, and kind of this pulling, I pull this towards me because I love it, and it also kind of plays into this taking action and jumping. I feel that there is a fine line between trying to force yourself to do all the stuff that you're afraid of, and punching through, such that you get burned out and you feel really bad at some point, and you stop doing it completely, or you just completely burn out, and actually developing this conscious relationship and doing the right steps in a way towards your goals and what you want to achieve, and do the jumps when they're necessary, because they're super powerful, but don't always jump, or try to force yourself to do those huge actions, which at some point are going to make you crush. They're going to just overwhelm you. So what is your experience with clients and maybe doing too much action or too little action? And what's your experience with this balance between taking a lot of action, but then also taking a step back and just figuring out what is the right action to do, such that I am progressing, but I'm not completely burning out?
That's a very interesting question. And I feel what is really needed, regardless what you do, is a good connection to yourself. When you have a good connection to yourself, you will feel that alarm going off. You'll see the red light going off. And the red light is literally what you just said. It's this is nothing for me right now. I shouldn't be doing this right now. So I take that very seriously, and as a coach, I'm always proposing. I'm saying, how about this? How about this? How about this? And I see from the reaction of the person where they stand, right? And they will also understand it, and then you get a lot of different ways to deal with it. You can go in entirely different direction. You can move back. You can slice it down into smaller pieces, whatever it is. There are so many options to follow. I believe it's just important to have a momentum and to keep going, because the human spirit is here to expand. It wants to expand. The soul wants to expand. We want to serve the universe. That's ultimately what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to be a part of the whole thing. I've been a lot into quantum physics, and quantum physics says everything is connected, and if you can embrace that and make yourself a part of everything and really shine your light, that's going to transform not just your life, but the life of everybody around you, and even the entire existence. So it's super important.
Yeah, and just especially in this philosophy, I've heard you talking about, and a lot of people, is basically that with quantum physics, or the idea of quantum physics is kind of this idea of potential, right? So actually potential is there, and you can, well, you can create anything you want, more or less. But at the same time, a lot of people hear this kind of philosophy and they're never creating anything in their life. And so what do you think is the key to taking this philosophy of quantum physics and this understanding that everything is connected and also everything is possible, and all of this potential, and so what do you think, how can you take this philosophy and actually make something out of it rather than take it as an excuse? Because I see a lot of people that are not creating what they want because they're like, you know what, I said to the universe I want this now, I ordered it, but it's not coming. Why is it not coming? So what is your experience with that, and what do you think are things that people can do to actually have those things come to their lives, actually arrive there, and not just be an idea in their head that they're spinning around?
Well, regardless if you look at it from a quantum physical perspective or not, we live in a world that has certain rules, like gravity, or like, I don't know, whatever natural laws there are. And this world, when it comes to humans, is very much or almost exclusively shaped by our actions. Now, actions can be anything. Actions can be sitting still. Action can be driving somewhere with your car. It can be literally anything. What matters when you're getting active is the consciousness that comes with it, like that you're present, right? So saying this, what's needed if you want to change your life and if you want to move your existence to, say, a more beautiful place, take action. And take conscious action. Be very, very clear what you want and be very clear how the action you're taking relates to your goal. That is so important. And one of the most important things I've ever learned in my entire life is focus on one thing at a time. We are so trained to focus on multiple things. Like when, you know, I used to work in the financial industry, and my then girlfriend said, you can do this coaching stuff, but keep that job in the financial industry so you have something to fall back on. And I was like, I'm not here to fall back on something. I'm here to move forward, you know. So be clear where you want to go. Be very intentional. Be super focused on what you want. Like right now, for me, it's to acquire 5 more clients until the end of September, right? That is my sole focus. Doesn't mean that I neglect other things in my life, but this is where my laser focus goes. This is where my energy goes. This is what I have in front of me. This is what fills me with joy, because you can feel how it's already there. And you won't believe what happened ever since I made this decision. People were actually calling me to make first arrangements and see if they want to work with me. So this works, you know. That's the focus that it takes. And then take that action consciously, knowing what you're doing, and be inspired about it. It should be linked to this beautiful feeling of you already having achieved what you were really going for. So that's what changes. That's what changes it, and that's what moves mountains. You can literally achieve anything if you know what you want, if you focus on it, and if you take action. And one last word I want to use here, it's consistency. You cannot be bothered with, oh, it's not happening, I stop it. Nope. If you set your mind to something, if you set your focus, your intention to something, you're not stopping until you've reached it. That again is a habit as well, you know. So I can't be bothered if I don't reach my goal in September. I mean, that's technically possible, right? That doesn't matter at all. I just keep going, you know. That's so important. There's no plan B.
Yeah. So on this last word, it's very interesting. So you're basically saying that You should set your goal. You should like take conscious action towards your goal, but then consistency is key in the sense that if you say this is the goal that I want to achieve by then, if I don't achieve it, this doesn't mean that this whole concept doesn't work. It can just mean maybe it's not ready yet, or maybe I didn't fully do the right actions yet, but I am on this path. Because I think that's something that's actually happened in my life as well, that I've seen with a lot of people, that they say like, this is what I want, and then they don't get it exactly the way they want it, and then they are like, okay, forget about it, it doesn't work.
Yeah.
And it's very, very important to just to see through and say like, I'm actually on this path. So well, if it doesn't arrive by September, why? It's not that it doesn't work, it's just like, now I'm on the right track. Let's see how this track, I can change this track maybe slightly to arrive to that goal. So, yeah.
Yeah, if I may drop another piece of value here, meditate. And of course, what is meditation? I believe in doing whatever you do, in being completely present and conscious. It could be having a conversation like this. It could be shopping. It could be cooking. It could be anything. It could even be brushing your teeth. Be completely present. And I also recommend just sitting in silence for 15-20 minutes a day. And observe what's going on inside of you. There's no, like people say, oh, that's meditation, that means I can't have any thoughts. That's not true. I'm just saying sit in silence. There was this story of a healer, and the student said, so healer, the meditation we do every day, what about it? And the healer said, what do you mean with meditation? And then the student was confused. And what we're doing every morning between 7 and 8. Like they sat on chairs, just silently. And the healer said, this is not meditation. This is just sitting silently, you know? So let's not overcomplicate stuff. It's just about being with yourself. No distraction, no smartphones, no contact, no sound, no speaking, no nothing, just you on a chair and sitting and listening to what's going on inside of you. So when you do that, and you need to do that every day, at least once, when you do that over a prolonged period of time, you will get that kind of feeling that will guide you. Feelings guide us. That's how we're built as humans. Feelings guide us, and that will make it easier for us to see where we're supposed to go. When you understand where you're supposed to go, it's much easier to be consistent about something and not being taken off track by adversities. And adversities will arise. It will be tough. People will say no. People will laugh at you. People will say it's not working, it's shit, you know? This is the world we're in right now. You can't be bothered by this. If you have an idea and you want to follow it through, just do it.
Yeah, and just on this last remark, I think it's very interesting. You could look at it this way, that you said consistency is key with conscious action, and consistency is also key with consciousness. Because it's when they combine, your consciousness is growing by consistently being more and more conscious of things, meditating and walking around consciously, like taking everything in, while you're also doing your actions consistently and consciously. Because I think this is what often happens, and this is maybe the distinction between people that really take a lot of action and sometimes they completely burn out and they're just like, I'm not going to do this anymore. And the people that are actually continuously growing is that people that do conscious action, but also consistency in consciousness and in a rising kind of their awareness of what's going on with themselves, what's going on in their lives, they can adjust very easily to like, oh, this was the right action, oh, this was a bit too much, or this was a bit too little, and they're growing in consciousness and they're growing in action in the way that is actually really helping them to grow.
Yeah. And
nice.
Doing the same exercise again and again and again and again and again will reveal so much about this exercise and yourself. So like my morning routine at the moment consists of getting up. Well, I don't even get out of bed. What I do is just I give thanks. I say aloud to the universe or to God or whatever. I use the word God, but nobody needs to do that. I just feel we're in this Western tradition where we call God God, so I call God God. And I thank the universe or the creator or God for being here, for being allowed to be here, for being healthy, for breathing, for being in this room, for my friends, for, for everything, that's the first thing I do. The second thing I do is I use my black roll just to get my back moving a little, and then I sit for 20 minutes, something like that. And after that, I have a drink, special drink that I drink in the morning, and then I do an eye gazing exercise with myself in the mirror, where I keep repeating, I love you, I see you, I feel you, I hear you, for about 2 minutes. And sometimes I also dance in the morning. I have very beautiful songs that I like to dance to, very soft. Because there's a lot there's a lot shifting right now in the belief. What's coming in is a lot of the female energy, the softness and the inspiration and what's going on inside. So I like to dance to very soft music to connect myself with my inspiration, and that's basically the foundation of my day. And throughout my entire morning routine, which probably takes like 30, 45 minutes, something like that, I'm aware that I'm dedicating myself to the universe, that I'm just a tool, and that I'm ready to receive what wants to be received. And that is just so much greater than me. It never is about me. When I realize what I do becomes about me, I step back and take the larger perspective, because that makes me very calm and, of course, a lot more powerful.
Mm-hmm. Nice. Yeah, so I believe there was a lot of important insight into how to take action, how to take conscious action, how to grow in consciousness, being aware of how your actions are actually working in your life or aren't, and how you go through your life, and also about how establishing a routine in terms of, basically mindfulness, consciousness, and understanding, feeling yourself, experiencing yourself, and knowing what is this deepest thing that wants to kind of come out of me through me in a way. So kind of like this vision, mission, or whatever. So I thank you very much for all the insight that you've been sharing with us here. Is there anything you want to say in closing?
Yeah, I mean, I've been enjoying this a lot, and we haven't spoken about this, but write down in the comment if you want more of this stuff. And please, and there was some fairly, say, advanced stuff here, right? So if you felt that it was too advanced and there was something that you didn't understand, also write it down below. So Jonas or we together can come up with explanations on things where you feel like, oh, can you go deeper into that concept, or can you maybe try to explain it in simpler terms?
Yeah, thanks, that's great. So for everyone that wants to check out Philipp's coaching and what he does, your website is Wave Consult, right?
waveconsult.ch. And what I do is weekly quantum events where I show how quantum technology can help you move into action and achieve your dream life and your dream business by helping you transform your belief systems that actually block you. We haven't spoken about that now, but it's super powerful. And that happens online. You can see that on my website, waveconsult.ch/quantum events. And I also want to invite you to follow me on Instagram. My handle you'll find down in the description, right? And yeah, that's pretty much it.
Great. So thank you so much for being here, and thank you so much for watching our video. As Philip said, if you have any questions on what we've said, or if you want us to go deeper on some things, or you weren't clear on some things, let us know in the comments. If you liked the video, please hit the like button. And if you want to support me and my channel, please subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications if you want to be notified for new videos. And thank you so much for listening. Goodbye, everyone.
Bye. Thank you.